Yo ho, so today I'm going to do my autumn TBR. This isn't in order. I'm very much like a mood reader. It depends how I feel after I finish a book to what I want to read next. My physical TBR on my shelf has gotten down quite a bit, so I don't really have much choice anymore. I have a good idea of what I'm going to read over the next month or two. Let's get into it. So what I'm currently reading is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I love a bit of Shirley Jackson. I'm only about just over 50 pages in and I'm liking it so far. I was in the mood for some kind of like classic horror. I want to kind of try to focus on reading more horror at the moment. Not that this TBR will show that, but I'll be going to the library a bit as well. But so far so good, I'm really enjoying it. I'm not going to say next I'm going to read this, but you get the kind of general idea. I want to read Just Kids by Patti Smith. I absolutely adore Patti Smith and her music, and I've never read any of her books, so I think this is a really good place to start since I like memoirs and since I like musical memoirs. And this is just about her life in the 70s in New York. It's the New York art scene, and it promises to be really good. I've never heard anything bad about this, so there's that. So I'll probably get to this this month. And I want to read in August. I generally always read a book from the Song of Ice and Fire series, so I'm going to read Feast for Crows by George R. R. Martin. I read Game of Thrones when in the summer of 2012, and kind of August, when it's really humid at night and you can't sleep and you're all sticky and gross. That's what I associate these books with, because I just stayed up reading them because I had nothing else better to do. So that's what I'm going to do. We haven't had a real summer in Ireland yet, but it's very warm today actually. So maybe the humid weather will come and I'll stay up all night reading this. I absolutely adore this series and I'm so excited to continue on, but then I'm also worried because I don't want my favourite people to die, so it's a double-edged sword. Finally read, I believe this was on my last kind of summer TBR thing I did last year, and just because I was working I just didn't have enough time to read. I'm gonna read Lolita. I keep like purposely putting this off because I'm like, I'm not really in the mood to read about a paedophile, and I know it's gonna end up as one of my favourite books. I know this, but I keep putting it off. So I'm going to get around to this because like I said, I'm getting down to the nitty gritty and I don't really have a lot of choice on my bookshelves anymore like I used to. So this is definitely going to get read. It's going to get read. It's totally going to get read. And then I'll be like, oh, why didn't I read it sooner? I also want to read A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. This is just absolutely tiny and I'll read it in one sitting. So this isn't anything stressful or anything like that. Not that I'm stressed out by this. This is just... When I bought this, I was really in the mood for some feminist literature, and I'm still in the mood since I still haven't read anything. But this will also get read this month, most likely, or maybe in September. You never know. I'm not gonna like restrict myself to reading all these in a certain month or by a certain time period. I also want to read In the Miso Soup. Again, horror related, in the mood for horror, in the mood for disturbing. All I'm always in the mood for disturbing. Now, I read Audition there a few months back and I wasn't that impressed with it. I don't know how to feel about this yet, but it should be good from the reviews I've read of it. These are more of the books now that I'm kind of thinking for September, possibly going into October. Another book that's been sitting on my shelf for ages that I know I'm going to really enjoy, John Dies at the End by David Wong. This just promises just to be like a total fun trip. I know that there's a movie out now on it. Well, not out now, it's out on DVD, and I've heard people gush about the movie, but I've also heard people gush about the book. And the book's quite, it's going to be weird when you turn it around and it's a severed arm on the back. So the back, it doesn't really give away much. I mean, it's been a while now, so my mind isn't that fresh on what it's about. I can't remember if it's aliens or if it's demons they have to fight. I'm leaning towards demons. I also got to finally read Transpiring Mag. I read half of this when I was 16, then I lost. No, I didn't lose where I was, but I just lost track of who was narrating it because it jumps around from person to person and it doesn't say like at the start of the chapter like, oh, it's Rent, oh, it's this person. I just got lost. I'm going to give it another go and focus this time because I think I was just very unfocused last. Another book that I'm putting off, and I might put it off for longer, is Last Night at the Viper Room. This is a biography about River Phoenix's life, and it's gonna be really depressing, and I don't want to read it. But I do want to read it, but I don't. Like, I'm not sure if this is a biography, like a full biography on River Phoenix's life, or if it's just the night he died, because flipping through it kind of seems like it's both. So I'm unsure, but I'm sure I will do a review of this once I do read it. Once I stop putting it off because I'm too much of a scaredy cat. The last book is Dracula by Bram Stoker. Again, another book I've been putting off for no apparent reason, but I just have. But I'm gonna get it read because I haven't read like any Irish authors at all. So I'm a shithead. I know this. I know this. So that's kind of my TBR. That's what I'm thinking about for the next couple of months, minus any library books. And after this, once I finish all these books, I'll only have 4 unread books left on my shelf, which is kind of mad. So let me know if you've read any of these books, if you enjoyed them, if you didn't, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.